Hello everyone and welcome to News Tonight. I'm Rhoda Ngonzi. Joining us in a bit on sign language is Jonano Pori. Let's dig into it. President Yoweri Museveni has urged Ugandans and Christians in particular to embrace commercial agriculture that will provide them with enough funds not only for family needs but also for those of the church. The president made the remarks on Sunday afternoon during the Golden Jubilee celebrations at Jinja Catholic Diocese, where he was the guest of honor. We have a report.
President Yoweri Museveni was over the weekend guest of honor at the Golden Jubilee celebrations of Jinja Catholic Diocese. The colorful ceremony that was attended by hundreds of Christians ran under the theme, Remain in Love. President Museveni urged Christians in particular and Ugandans in general to embrace commercial agriculture that will provide them with enough funds not only for family needs but also for those of the church.
Mbadde mbalamu singa buli family ezemitwalo 16 ez'abakatuliki eziri mu Busoga wano, singa buli family wayo akakadde kamu, mbadde mbalamu wano bwe buwumbi 160. naye kubanga wakyaliyo obwavu mu families tujja wano olunaku lulamba kati ekigambo ekyo kyoggoba obwavu mu maka gaffe kikisigaddeyo kubanga ebirala byo mulaba bitambula.
He congratulated the people of Jinja Diocese upon celebrating their Golden Jubilee and told them that the diocese was established at the time he was around and thanked God for the gift of life that has enabled him to witness all these developments. He told them that the country was at the time in turmoil where ministers like Matthias Ngobi, Grace Ibinjira, Dr. Lumu, Balak Kiria and George Magezi were arrested, and in the subsequent regimes, prelates like Janan Luwum and Father Clement Chigundu were extrajudicially killed.
Kino kinjagala kukyebaliza Katonda kubanga ffe NRM bwe twajja twali tumaze okuwera obusosoze obw'amadiini n'amawanga bwe twali mu nsiko. Njagala kwebaza abeezikiriza namwe mwakiraba ne mukola interreligious council oba yaliwo simanyi oba mwasesamu, naye okuva olwo ndaba enzikiriza zikolagana bulungi.
He added that these vices were all stemmed out by NRM when it came to power in 1986. President Museveni added that there is now freedom in the country, including that of worship, where believers of different religious denominations can move together to functions like the one of the Golden Jubilee in Jinja.
Ezikiriza zina freedom okusinza nga bwemwagala, tewaliwo abayingirira. Ate ekigambo ekyo ekyobwavu mu families nakyo kireetamu ebizibu ebimu.
While welcoming the president and the congregation to the ceremony, the host bishop, Right Reverend Charles Martin Wamika of Jinja Catholic Diocese, disclosed that plans are underway to establish a radio station that will mobilize not only the faithful but all Ugandans in the diocese on how to eradicate poverty, promote health and other pertinent issues affecting the society. To this effect, a fundraising drive was conducted towards construction of the radio station. The National Resistance Movement NRM Honorable Justin Kasule Lumumba auctioned the president's portrait at over 60 million shillings in cash and pledges, while the Prime Minister of Busoga Kingdom, Muvawala Sekere, auctioned the portrait of the first Bishop of Jinja Diocese, Right Reverend Joseph Willigas, at over 40 million shillings. President Museveni, on his part, contributed 50 million shillings in cash and pledged to complete the balance of 380 million. The establishment of the radio station requires 500 million shillings.
By the power and working of the Holy Spirit, you give life to all things and make them holy. And you never cease.
Earlier, the main celebrant at the Mass, Apostolic Nuncio to Uganda, Archbishop Michael August Blume, strongly urged Christians of Jinja Diocese to cooperate in the mission entrusted to the clergy of witnessing to the gospel in search for the lost sheep. The Apostolic Nuncio also counseled Christians in Jinja Diocese to value Christian marriage to ensure that their families become truly domestic churches.
Let us promote peace in whatever we do, starting from homes up to the diocese level. Let us also renew in truthfulness.
Archbishop Spirian Kizito Lwanga of Kampala Archdiocese urged Christians to cherish unity and also promote peace right from their homes to the diocesan level, as well as the truth. UBC TV, Harriet Nambi.
Now, President Yoweri Museveni has left for Nairobi to attend the swearing-in ceremony and inauguration for Uhuru Kenyatta as President of Kenya. The Minister for the Presidency, Honorable Esther Mbayo, saw off the President at Entebbe International Airport this evening. Others at the airport included the Head of Public Service, Mr. John Mitala, the Commander of the Air Force, Major General Charles Lutaya, Assistant Inspector General of Police, Mr. Andrew Solowin, and the Deputy Commissioner General of Prisons, Mr. James L. Mwanje. Meanwhile, political analysts have called on Kenyan rival political factions to talk reconciliation for the development of East Africa's #1 economy. Ugandan historian and scholar Wambutsia Ndebesa describes the Kenyan situation as a reflection of a wider African crisis, calling on the two contending parties to share power. The call comes as the country prepares to inaugurate Uhuru Kenyatta as president for a 5-year tenure. Let's take a look.
Mungu ndio anapanga barabara ya kila mtu. Huwezi ujipangie kwa kutakia mwenzako mabaya.
When International Criminal Court acquitted Kenyan Deputy President William Ruto and former radio presenter Arap Sang, opposition leader Raila Odinga reportedly traveled to Europe. It is from there that he was quoted to have made unfriendly statements which did not go down well with Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Lakini yako ni kwenda kuharibu jina yetu huko nje na mambo ambaye haina. Wazungu wamefanya yao, wamejaribu miaka 6 kutufunga, wameshindwa, wamesema hakuna kesi. Tosheka na haya. Tosheka na haya. Na urudi tujenge Kenya yetu pamoja.
This kind of experience could have defined the recent and ongoing events in Kenya, probably for fear of being potential candidates for the International Criminal Court.
So it is possible that ICC has helped Kenyans somehow to restrain their otherwise wild behavior, knowing that they can easily become a candidate since some of their own have been candidates before.
Renowned Ugandan history scholar and political analyst Dr. Mwamusia Ndebesa observes that the current Kenyan political crisis is typical African.
I think the current crisis in Kenya is a reflection of a wider crisis in Africa of failure to tolerate each other as Africans.
Even when he calls for sharing of power, he contradicts Uhuru Kenyatta's position.
The solution to me would be for the political class in Kenya to agree to share political power.
Mimi nawaambia wenzangu leo waziwazi mchana, wenzangu, nusu mkate hata slice moja hakuna.
Maybe, in my opinion, to craft another electoral system, such as proportional representation, that is all-inclusive, but at the same time allows some political players autonomy enough to negotiate how they should be included.
The call comes as preparations for the swearing-in are on course, with Kasarani Stadium, the selected venue, already set. Kenyatta is set to steer the country for another 5 years after winning October 26th repeat presidential election, an exercise boycotted by opposition coalition National Super Alliance, NASA.
Sisi tunataka a nation that is going to reconcile and heal.
Henry Okrut, UBC.
Thank you, Henry Okrut. Now, security remains tight in Kasese as the district marks 1 year of security raid on the Renzururu Kingdom Palace that left over 100 people dead. Police spokesperson Emilian Kaima says the deployment of security in the district is aimed at averting eventualities since different groups of youth were planning to march in town.
It's a year since we had clashes in Kasese. Yesterday, some sections of the communities there wanted to have mass gatherings under the guise of praying for. Now the police found that a little tricky, given the so many voices that were coming from different directions. And the police, hand in hand with other security agencies, agreed that we halt that gathering as we watch the space. We want to ask the people of Kasande everywhere to calm down because investigations are still going on, and in that place, that palace, where much of the trouble took place, is still treated as a crime scene.
You are still watching News Tonight. The Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, has denounced government's new move to scrap subjects from the O-level syllabus that offer vocational training. Ms. Kadaga was responding to the decision taken by the National Curriculum Development Centre to drop 23 subjects from the national syllabus.
Vocational subjects like electricity, power, energy, woodwork, building and construction, and metalwork are on the verge of being dropped at ordinary level education should the decision by the National Curriculum Development Centre NCDC to drop 23 subjects from the national syllabus is implemented. But the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, urges that these subjects would provide vocational training to a big number of the population who cannot go through the traditional education to attain white-collar jobs.
We are talking about skilling Uganda. How can we remove this subject? I don't understand it. Because we are talking about taking Uganda into middle income status. We are talk about taking Uganda into innovation. How do we have innovation if these shops are closed? So when our members, when we go back, I expect people to raise this matter about the subjects that are being eliminated. I think it's important that we look at them. I found it really interesting.
She made these remarks while officiating at the launch of a tree planting project at Teso College Alowet. Kadaga commended the school for its initiative in taking part in the tree planting campaign.
Thank you so much for that, but you need to do more. The trees cannot harm you. They cannot improve your lives. So I want to ask you to put in more effort in that, along those lines.
The speaker contributed 3 million shillings towards the construction of a digitized library and the rehabilitation of the metal and wood workshop. The school intends to plant trees on 20 acres of land. Ms. Kadaga also launched a fundraising run for Bukoyo Senior Secondary School Library in Iganga and donated 3 million shillings towards the cause.
Ate mutageta mutagema kaboda mulumukira irara mairo diweyo sonde sente at the library yaife.
She promised to follow up on the bill for government to support schools with international students. At Soroti Municipal Secondary School, students showcased robotics innovations, and the speaker promised to get them access to international robotics innovations. During her tour, the speaker also visited St. Catherine Girls Secondary School in Nidira to officiate at the reunion and launch of Old Girls Association, where she was named patron of the association.
It is possible to leave this school and become somebody. And I'm a bit disappointed when head teacher says that the bulk of the girls stop at senior 4 and they are content to just go to do certificate courses and stop there. I left this school and went to Namsagari College for HSC, and I was one of the best students in Uganda. I want you to understand that. So from here, Namsagari, I was the best in Uganda. So it's possible for you to do it.
She rallied the old girls to use the association to improve the school infrastructure and contributed 10 million shillings towards the construction of a dormitory. Honorable Joe Yongom of Lira District and Honorable Judith Aliek from Kolewa, both old students, contributed 2 million shillings each. Bernard Higa, UBC.
Last week, UBC TV carried a story in which one Adela Kimberley was seeking for financial assistance worth 90 million to facilitate her operation and cochlear implant. Now, heeding to the call, some relatives, friends and well-wishers turned up at Emerald Hotel in Kampala for the fundraising dinner and successfully collected over 5 million shillings in cash and pledges.
These are the people who spared time and money to attend baby Adela Kimberley's fundraising dinner. In attendance were majorly parents and their children with hearing impairment. Edith Mikaya is Elaine Gracious Asabawewa's mother. According to her, Elaine Gracious Asabawewa was profoundly deaf, but after undergoing an operation and a cochlear implant, today Elaine can talk, write and read so well.
Who knows? She may be a future doctor, lawyer, pilot, nurse, or an air hostess. Thank you for supporting Kimberley.
Kimberley can't do that right now because she's where Elaine was. So I really beg us, let's stand with Kimberley, let's spread word out there. You never know who can do what.
Catherine Mugisha is a mother of a child with a hearing impairment that was as a result of meningitis. She says, although her daughter Divine Faith Namwesigwa managed to get a cochlear implant, the problem was not fully solved.
Because we got cochlear implant late, she's not speaking the way she's supposed to speak. As you see here, Elaine speaks quite well because she got the cochlear in time.
Basing on this experience, Mrs. Mugisha calls on everyone out there to come to Kimberley's rescue as early as possible. Gracing the fundraising dinner was Jacob Siminyu, the Public Relations Officer, Minister of Internal Affairs, who doubled as the chief fundraiser.
260,000 from the auction item. That is the first part of the good news.
By end of the fundraising, about 5,700,000 shillings had been collected in cash and pledges.
Those of you who have come for us here, we sincerely appreciate your contribution in terms of time.
and especially also your resources that you have sacrificed for us. And to us, that was a big thing to have a beginning.
It should be noted that 5-year-old Adela Kimberly needs 90 million shillings to enable her undergo a surgery and a cochlear implant on the 18th day of December, when a specialist from the US will be visiting Uganda.
The call we have is that the public should join in fundraising. This is not the design of Kimberly. Kimberly just found herself with that speech and hearing challenges.
Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
9 health centers in Kampala are set to benefit from a healthcare initiative by Kampala Capital City Authority, KCCA, and MTN Uganda. The centers, which include Chisugu, Kamombogo, Chisenyi, Kawala, and Chitebi, are to receive items such as beds, mattresses, and blankets, among others. Executive Director KCCA Jennifer Msisi is optimistic the initiative will go a long way in addressing bed shortages in the city health centers.
5 health centers within Kampala City are to receive beds, mattresses, bed sheets, and blankets. According to Kampala Capital City Authority Executive Director Jennifer Msisi, the move aims to address the shortage of beds in health centers around the city.
Provided 100 maternity beds. They've also provided 100 mattresses, 100 blankets, and 100 mosquito nets that we're going to use in our antenatal, postnatal, and the mother just after delivery. But this is going to go a very, very long way in helping us.
The initiative is spearheaded by the MTN Foundation support to health sector through its Access to Healthcare initiative. The first beneficiary of the healthcare drive is Kawala Health Center 3.
Nation alone is 100 million, but we shall be committing 500 million for hospitals all over the country.
I thank our Executive Director, the ED, Kampala, for having been in connection, for contacting, looking for these partners for us who have enabled to give us all of this, that we are not in any need. She always provides, she always goes on looking for wherever somebody can give us something good for the best of what? Of Kampala.
This facility, meant to cater for a small number of patients, often operates above its intended capacity. Access to beds is essential in ensuring quality health care for Ugandans. Low bed capacity in health centers results in people sleeping on the floor, which is often uncomfortable and below the World Health Organization minimum health care standards. Charlotte Amuge and Dennis Sigoa, UBC News.
Vice-Chancellor Makerere University Professor Barnabas Nwangwe has warned all those occupying the university land to vacate and pave way for redevelopment of the said land. Nwangwe says the move is intended to create a fallback financial basket for the university through construction of commercial buildings and engaging in other income-generating activities. He was addressing his monthly press briefing at Makerere University Guest House.
Like 6 tons. Let's use this opportunity to warn all those who think that they can grab material land, that they are dead dreaming. You can try, you can use all kinds of unscrupulous methods and what have you, and you think you have grabbed the land. You are wasting your time. That land is public land, it is material land. You will lose it if you think you have bought it. People have tried to grab it, and it has always come back to the university.
That is the Vice-Chancellor Makerere University, Professor Barnabas Nwangwe, warning university encroachers and grabbers to stay clear. He says the university has called potential investors world over to come and express their interest in developing the vacant land with the aim of creating financial basket for the university.
We have short-term, medium-term and long-term projections and plans with respect to investment We believe that all of these, in one way or another, will contribute to the diversified resource base of the university.
All these investments are envisaged to be done through the PPP mechanism, different PPP mechanism, and we shall be, of course, negotiating and discussing and getting proposals from the potential investors.
At the same press briefing, Dr. Arthur Tugume from the College of Natural Sciences unveiled research technologies geared at improving banana production in Uganda and beyond her borders.
This is a crop management program. So what is in the field is what we are looking at. We are not taking new varieties to the farmers, but we are working with the farmers with what they have. And we believe what they have the potentials if they are helped, if proper management practices are actually put in place. Of course, new breeds are also welcome, and we can always put them part of the program to be able to increase productivity. And these new breeds we are talking about, Vincent, is that they will not be able to reach the potential of 50% if the farmers continue using the same methods of cultivation.
With these technologies, the university researchers will be able to train farmers on how to mitigate banana diseases and crop maintenance for a number of years without any disease attack. Joseph Buule, UBC, Makerere.
Luweero Resident District Commissioner Alice Muwanguzi has lauded non-governmental organization raising voices for its effort towards ending severe punishment in schools. Muwanguzi quotes research in Luweero District which showed many cases of school dropouts as a result of fear of being severely punished.
In 2014, government passed a directive restricting schools from severe punishment. Though there was a reduction, there have been a few isolated cases, especially in rural settings like Luweero District. So, in order to rid Uganda's education system of those isolated cases, non-government organization Raising Voices is on a nationwide sensitization campaign to teachers on how to handle extreme indiscipline by students.
After the program ended, 2 years after the program, and we can still see some effects. We can still see the ideas have taken hold in the schools. So people didn't just go back to using violence again. No, they kept the new culture alive, you know, where they had a better relationship with the children and used less violence. And we're also bringing this program to hopefully all primary and all secondary schools in Uganda.
This move, whose latest stop has been to Luweero, has been appreciated by the resident district commissioner, Alice Muwanguzi.
The head teachers have given testimonies. Therefore, I would like this project to work together with the Ministry of Education so that they complement one another, so that...
During the sensitization campaign, police officer Alice Nakanda issued a stern warning to parents that disown children with disabilities. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
Residents and traders at Senyondo landing site in Buwama sub-county in PG district want government to increase support towards the fight against malaria and HIV/AIDS in the area. According to them, uncoordinated interventions from NGOs and Good Samaritans cannot solve their health problems. The area has only one health center serving the entire sub-county. Samuel Galandi has more.
Senyondo landing site is a beehive of activity with thousands from different walks of life sweating to acre living daily. Located on Lake Victoria's Wunjako Island in Buwama sub-county in Pigi district, the site welcomes one with scattered wooden structures that house bars, lodges and fish stores. But in this sea of disorder lies a big, well-organized church structure just 100 meters away from the lake. Senyondo Redeemed Church is a subsidiary of Redeemed of the Lord Evangelical Church in Makerere. This weekend, the church turned into a temporary health center hosting a medical camp.
To reach out to the people of this place with medical services, we are providing immunization, we are providing HIV/AIDS testing and counseling, We are providing testing and treatment for various sicknesses.
The camp, organized by Redeemed of the Lord Evangelical Church, has drawn experts from Mulago and Mengo hospitals, providing a wide range of general and specialized medical services.
We have a team of over 6 personnel from Mengo Hospital, about 4 personnel from Mulago Hospital. The head of our medical team is Dr. Kisembo Harriet, a senior consultant from Mulago Hospital, assisted by a pediatrician from Mulago Hospital.
This woman found drying silverfish, says eye experts at the medical camp treated her of an eye infection that had become a threat to the source of her livelihood. Other beneficiaries also have related testimonies, but also want government to increase support towards the fight of malaria, sexually transmitted infections, and HIV. As the sun casts golden rays on the lake, doctors and nurses put off their uniforms and tools to join evangelists, pastors and worshippers to spread the gospel of salvation.
Kati bw'obanga tonnafuna obulokozi oba tonnafuna bulamu bwa mirembe na mirembe.
This is punctuated with dancing, praising and worshipping God. Samuel Garandi, UBC News.
Library and information scientists have been asked to use existing media platforms like radios, social media and oral communication to reach out to the public with relevant development messages. The Commissioner, Ministry of Information and National Guidance, Moses Watasa, was speaking to information and library scientists attending a regional training workshop in Kampala. Member of Parliament Wiaga East, Barnabas Tinkasemire, attended the meeting held at Gastro Book Center in Kampala.
It shows that close to 70% of the people use radio as a source.
Library and information scientists across East Africa have been asked to inspire the public into appreciating book reading and access available media platforms and rural communication networks for information update.
And I have also discovered people fear reading very big books. Maybe we need to break up the issues and produce smaller and simpler books.
This was at the opening of an East African regional advocacy workshop aimed at creating awareness on the role of librarians in the implementation of UN 2030 Agenda and Sustainable Development Goals.
And we are calling upon fellow librarians, our policy makers, our political leaders, civil society and NGOs to work with us. We want to support them, especially in the areas of collecting data, so that they can meaningfully implement the decisions they have.
Uganda Library and Information Association is hosting the regional meeting that has attracted professors, librarians, and information scientists from Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, and host Uganda at Gastro Book Center, Old Kampala.
Now, a child can learn so much from a chart, but a child also needs to look at a book. I think teachers, you have to be aware of it. When you were young, you also had a reader. Please make sure that our young children are also exposed to readers. Don't give them just a chart to study from and expect...
The Commissioner for Information and National Guidance, Moses Watasa, officiated the meeting and asked information and library scientists to tap into existing media platforms, mainly radios, televisions, a number of newspapers, and several social media outlets to popularize information and library services.
We need people to help us to mobilize people. Because you know advocacy is about getting issues trending on the agenda, public debate and discussion and things like that.
Wiaga East Member of Parliament, Barnabas Tinkasemire, pledged to ensure library and information scientists are supported in their drive to improve the literacy rate in the country and ensure Ugandans benefit from the UN 2030 agenda and sustainable development goals initiatives.
We need this information. We need this information for us to actually conceptualize what it means to end hunger, what it means to end poverty.
Head under the theme, Positioning Librarians and Information Services to Achieve the United Nations 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, the 3-day training aims at popularizing, reading, information dissemination, and access for sustainable development.
So that's why this workshop is very, very important, so that our librarians, wherever they are, our information specialists play their big role in terms of helping our different governments to make sure that these SDGs are really productive to our different countries.
Any sort of development, wherever you are, depends on information. We say that information is the catalyst of development, because information is the basis of knowledge, and we need knowledge of political, economic, social, and technological development. So this is
Habimana Deo, reporting for BC News, Kampala.
Now let's take a short break. We return with business news. Don't go away if you may.
Explore more, discover more. It can get a little done. It will be a little more. This worth a try since I'm winning. Not afraid of that word. Now the stains, no germs. With my magic family, my days are fresher than fresh. The magic family, family, family. White star, earth, super bird. It's a turn of your life. The magic family, family, family. White star, earth, super bird. It's a turn of your life.
The Directorate for Ethics and Integrity, Office of the President, invites civil society organizations, government departments and agencies, religious and faith-based organizations, the media, private sector and the general public to come and participate in the launch of the Anti-Corruption Campaign 2017 on the 28th of November 2017. The program will begin with a procession at 8 a.m. from Chogam Grounds, adjacent to the Parliamentary Building, off Nile Avenue. Other activities will include exhibitions to showcase the work of the anti-corruption agencies and a press conference. Theme: Restoring Integrity in Public Service, regaining citizens' trust in the anti-corruption fight. The chief worker will be the Right Honorable Rakana Rugunda, Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda.
Dreamland Furniture brings to you international classic and modern sofa sets, dining tables, state-of-art bedrooms set up with orthopedic mattresses that brings life to your sitting room. At Dreamland Furniture, we offer customized furniture in different sizes, colors, and designs. Change your living room into a reality this festive season. Come and enjoy our big discount. We are located at Pioneer House opposite Shell Ginger Road. For more information, contact the numbers on your screen.
Thank you for sticking with us. You are still watching News Tonight. Uganda has reached an agreement with the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, to undertake joint exploration and development of oil and gas resources. According to Uganda's Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, Irene Maloney, oil found across the borders will be developed as a unit and accruing revenues shared between the two countries. The deal also includes DRC using Uganda's oil pipeline and related infrastructure to export her crude oil. This is business news. Commercial banks in Uganda are embracing the digital space in a bid to extend their services across the country and reach more customers. Equity Bank's Managing Director Samuel Chirubi foresees a time when banking halls will have no queues, as most of the banking services will be accessible on phones and computers. Now, by digitizing by digitizing banking services. Financial inclusion will be attained in Uganda.
Banking institutions in Uganda are digitizing their services in order to reach a vast majority of the country's population. According to Equity Bank's Managing Director, Samuel Chirubi, digitizing of banking services has immense benefits to the banks and their clientele.
Made account opening very easy as a bank, where we don't even require minimum balance, we don't do ledger fees. So it's a very affordable model, where you open an account, you are not required to pay a ledger fee, you are not required to have a certain deposit, and the bank doesn't charge you unless you come and withdraw. So it's a partnership and a trust in growth.
The digital space has already had a positive impact on traditional banking, and with the recent introduction of agency banking by Bank of Uganda, more Ugandans are expected to access financial services with ease.
That will allow us to distribute our products, improve people's access to financial services, include people who are not banking at the moment, address issues of reach, meaning the bank is too far, I am not rich enough to go to the bank, I don't earn enough money, I can't bank.
Compared to a decade ago, it is now possible for one to open an account, deposit, withdraw, and even get a loan by simply tapping a few keys on the phone.
Money is no longer the issue. Then if you look at it then, technology is no longer an issue now, because you see we have phones, we have these beautiful cameras and everything. And technology, the world has become a global now economy.
Innovation is crucial in the now competitive financial environment. For the first time, banks are hiring celebrities to represent the brand. According to banking experts, digitizing banking services will cut down costs incurred in traditional banking by over 50% and reduce on time and costs for customers. This will, however, take some time to materialize due to the poor coverage of banks in rural Uganda. Charlotte Amuge, UBC Business.
Mombasa, a popular tourist destination in Kenya, is facing a major slump of visitors due to the prolonged political uncertainty and tension. At a time of the year when tourist numbers are expected to be at their highest, the situation on ground is worrying. Our own Dennis Segoa now reports from the coastal city of Kenya.
Welcome to Mombasa, the Kenyan coastal city by the Indian Ocean that never sleeps. Mombasa is ranked among the best and the most popular tourist destinations on the African continent and across the globe. This city is, however, facing one of the toughest seasons due to the prolonged political uncertainty in Kenya. Very few tourists can be seen strolling and basking in the white sandy beaches at a time of the year when the shores are normally full of foreign tourists escaping the winter season in Europe. The election fever is already stretched for more than 10 months and it is not clear when the tension will ease, laments Juma, a beach boy.
Kwa kweli mwaka huu utakuwa mgumu, hata mwaka ulioisha 2016 the same ilikuwa kama hivi.
This has been the most difficult year for us in Mombasa. You can imagine this is November and yet the beach is dry. We don't expect December to be much better.
Sio kwamba tunaignore Mkenya mwenzetu ama kabila zingine, mgeni aina yoyote si ni mgeni wetu.
Juma and his colleague Johnson earn a living from guiding local and foreign tourists around the coastal city. Their vast knowledge of the marine life and the popular tourism sites is on point. However, without clients, they are redundant and penniless.
Tunategemea tourists. If tourists hawatakuja, hata si watu pamoja tunaumia. Hilo ndo lengo letu kubwa. Hatuna kitu kingine.
If tourists don't show up, we suffer a lot. We rely on this beach to earn a living. People see us coming to the shores and think that we are making a lot of money.
Tunalipa nyumba, hata mtoto form 1 form 4 tunasomesha na bahari. Sasa bahari ikikauka, je, mtoto ataenda shule? Atabaki nyumbani kuzunguka.
Juma's prayer is for the politicians to put aside their differences and work towards getting the economy back on track. His appeal comes at a time when the festive season, popular for family vacations, draw closer.
Tuna matarajio, we hope. Tuna matarajio baada ya wiki 2-3 tutakuwa na some changes here. We hope so.
Kivyangu mimi ningeliomba wao wakae chini
And as a citizen of Kenya and a resident of Mombasa, my plea to the warring parties is that they should sit down and dialogue. By dialoguing, the image of Kenya locally and internationally will improve.
Basi na kila kitu kitakuwa shwari.
In 2016, Kenya's tourism sector suffered a major slump after a series of terror attacks targeting Nairobi and tourist resorts in Mombasa and Lamu. In 2017, the situation has been exacerbated by the tense and prolonged electioneering period that has kept away many potential visitors, hence negatively impacting key sectors of the economy such as tourism. Dennis Igoa for UBC News in Mombasa, Kenya.
Thank you, Dennis Goa. Farmers in Greater Masaka districts, especially those in Bukuma and Simbi, have been commended for supporting government efforts aimed at revamping coffee growing in the country. This was during the launch of Katushabe to Kolerewa Mukukulu Farmers Group in Bukuma and Simbi North constituency.
Political leaders in Greater Masaka region have embarked on a campaign to sensitize farmers on the importance of growing coffee alongside other crops such as bananas, sweet potatoes and cassava. Member of Parliament for Bukoma and Simbi North, Ruth Katushabe, together with the former Member of Parliament Kakutorakai District, Matthias Kasamba, were addressing farmers at the launch of the Katushabe to Kolewa Makukulu Farmers Group in Bukoma and Simbi North constituency.
Demonstration what? Of demonstration gardens. Yeah? Zetulambulirako. Nezile tugenda zirambula naye badde nsaba n'ekyo mukirowoozeeko. Yeah? Then n'olumulungi awamu ebibagatta kale bw'oleeta omuntu lwayangula okukola ki? Okutuuka n'alambula. Nze mundekere kubasakira busakizi.
During the function, Katushabe donated over 2 million shillings, 20 spray pumps, and a maize milling machine, among others, all valued at 20 million shillings. Former Member of Parliament Kakutorakai Matthias Kasamba encourages members to always work as a team if they to realize any tangible results. The farmers were advised to embrace growing of quick maturing crops like sweet potatoes, Irish potatoes and vegetables for the dual role of fighting poverty and hunger. Report compiled by Salongo Fred Kasibande.
This is Independent Sound.
UBC has 11 sister radio stations spread throughout the country to educate, inform, and entertain. Tune in to UBC Radio FM 98, your national radio station, Magic 100, where sports and music is our life. 87.5 Star FM in Luganda, 97.4 UBC West covering Western Uganda, 102 Mega FM in Gulu, 97 FM Butebo Radio in Eastern Uganda, 107.0 Buduri FM, 100.5 Ngea FM in Kasese, 98.0 West Nile FM in Arua, Total Ray Radio FM 90 in Karamoja, and 93.0 Voice of Mundbujo. Now you're covered in your local language. UBC Radios, inspiring Uganda.
On the international scene, the African Union has given a move to withdraw 1,000 troops from Somalia next month the green light amidst calls to rescind this exit plan. Uganda People's Defense Forces spokesperson Brigadier Richard Karimire says this drawdown is in compliance with UN Security Council resolution for a phased withdrawal of African Union peacekeepers from Somalia. Uganda, with the highest number of troops in AMISOM, is sending home 280 troops next month, with another battle group rotating out early next year. Samuel Senano has more.
The Uganda People's Defense Forces has confirmed that the phased withdrawal from Somalia will go on as planned, despite calls from the US government to repeal this position. The United States has in the recent past indicated that they are ready to fund AMISOM's activities in Somalia until the terror levels drop. Army officials say the decision has been informed by the need to give chance for the Somali National Army to take charge of the country's security and peace affairs.
It's not a Ugandan mission, it is an African Union mission working under the mandate of the United Nations. True, there has been a resolution at the United Nations Security Council that renewed the mandate of this mission to next year. Alongside that, it has called upon us to reduce the number of troops that we have had in the mission.
UPDF spokesperson Brigadier Richard Karemire, however, says this drawdown will not diminish Uganda's Pan-African interests.
Uganda, by the end of 31st of December of this year, we should have cut down at least 281 troops. All of us as troop contributing countries must cut out 1,000, and it's the same number that has to be cut next year. So, arising from this, we've conducted our own assessment and will be making adjustments in our deployment, but without losing the gains that we have made. We'll work hard, we'll work closely with the Somalia National Security Forces so that we support them.
The U.S. military presence in Somalia has continued to grow to 500 personnel from 200 personnel reported in March 2017. Early this month, the Trump administration authorized its first ever airstrike against the Al-Shabaab militants. Uganda, which has the highest number of troops in Somalia, is deployed in Sector 1, and the UPDF is charged with ensuring security in the capital Mogadishu and the coastal towns of Lower Shebele region.
We provide training to ensure that the state structures of the Somali state are they do stand up, especially the army. Emphasis is on the army. We must build a new Somalia national army that will sustain the peace and security that is now being enjoyed by a majority of the Somali.
This withdrawal comes at a time when Somalia is recovering from the wounds of the deadly Mogadishu attack last month, which claimed over 300 nationals. But as plans of exiting Somalia are being set in motion, mission assessment reports have shown that Somalia may not be ready yet for life without AMISOM. Samuel Senono, UBC News.
Brought to you by
In the sports world, Azam Uganda Premier League defending champions KCCA FC have a genuine opportunity to turn results around, having lost to Mujib Kasule's boys of Proline FC 2-1 at Lugogo. Second with 22 points, Mike Mutebi's side has to move its charges when they head to Western Uganda to face Mbarara City FC on Tuesday, hoping to clinch a win to lead the league table with 25 points. In other games, Wounded Vipers FC host URA FC at St. Mary's Chitende. Ginger Best Chirinya face off against Maroons at Bugembe Stadium. Masavu FC faces SC Villa, while Arua's Odum Baraka encounter bottom-placed UPDF FC at Greenlight Stadium. Police leads the table standings with 23 points. KCCA FC and SC Villa both have 22 points, with just goal difference separating the two sides. Police FC striker Hood Kawesi leads the scores league sheet with 7 goals. Both KCCA's Shaban Mohammed and Express FC have 6 goals, while Vipers Milton Kalisa has 5 points. The Ugandan Rugby Sevens men's side is in Dubai to take part in the HSBC World Rugby Series, slated for 30th November to 2nd December this year. Uganda goes into this tournament as an invitational side and is drawn in Group A with rivals Kenya, South Africa and Canada. Tolbert Onyango's men head for the competition with heads held high after defending the Africa's